On Monday, Memorial Day, more than 50,000 people will pack the streets of Boulder for the 41st running of the Boulder Boulder. And for all but the first 2 years of this race, runners and walkers have crossed the finish line at CU's Folsom Field. That's a long history between the race and the school, one that Bruce Benson has worked to maintain in the 11 years he's been president of the CU system. Well, Benson is retiring in a few weeks, and before he goes, the Boulder Boulder is honoring him by naming him the official starter for the race. And recently, I had a chance to sit down and talk to him about the race and his time at CU.
The Boulder Boulder does something that I really am very high on: collaboration. So you've got the city of Boulder, you've got the Boulder Boulder, and you got the University of Colorado Boulder, all working together. And I think that is a neat deal. And think about the exposure you get. All these, you got 50,000 people out there running. Well, they might think about sending their kid or themselves to go to CU.
I know you have a long list of accomplishments at CU. Tell me what you're most proud of.
Cultural change. All points of view out there. Let everybody have their say. Listen to other people. Respect people, collaboration, all of these things, they all work together. See, I think you got to get a better balance in colleges and universities. You got to hear all points of view, get people to, how about this word, respect each other? Doesn't that work? Well, you know, that we'll bring in these, you know, Milo, the crazy guy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So what happened when he was here? Gave 3 tickets, 2 to people we'd never heard of, 1 to a graduate student. What happened to Berkeley? Had riots. Charles Murray, I don't think anybody even knew he was here. Middlebury, people went to the hospital. So you got to get people to stop and start listening to points of view other than theirs, because that's really what education is all about. I say all the time, teach them how to think, not what to think.
So that's important to you?
It certainly is to me, because I think that's how you learn. I'll tell you, when I was a TA at Boulder, you know, in geology, I told the kids up there, I said, I'm not worried about how much geology you learn. I'm worried about how much you learn how to think.
You feel like you're leaving the university in good hands?
Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape. We've built a team of people here that you don't see people backstabbing around here. You don't see them working against each other. They collaborate, they cooperate. We're friends. We go to lunches. We do stuff together. It's a good collaboration and a lot of good people. And I've talked to the new president, or new soon-to-be president, about this, and I said, you've got a really strong staff here. Now, I would urge you to keep them around, because they'll keep you out of trouble.
So what do you think about the new choice for president?
Well, he's got good experience. He's got some, have you read about him?
I have.
All right, so he's got some corporate experience. And what I've read, it looks like he was pretty successful in some of it. He's had political experience, 3-term congressman.
Right.
And now he's got almost 3 years in it in North Dakota, and so he's got a good smattering of education. Now, North Dakota, that university is slightly larger than our Colorado Springs campus,
right.
So it's a huge difference between this place and that place.
Right.
So he brings all that. So you got to have some knowledge.
Students didn't seem to be too impressed.
Well, Ken can tell you this, because I didn't do this, but when I went through the process, these guys say they were tougher on me than they were on him. So you just buck up and go do it.
Is he a good choice, though, if the students were not thrilled with his congressional record?
Well, I don't know what records they weren't thrilled with, but they sure weren't thrilled with my record. So you just overcome it, you know, make friends, move on. You don't have to have fights every day.
He'll be making $650,000 in base pay, almost pretty much double what you made. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, since I didn't get what I asked for, which I wanted, $1. So, and I really wish they'd stuck with that $1 thing, but they wouldn't do it. I didn't do this for the money. I did it for the cause. So I don't care what he makes, but you know, the market is out there, and it is. I mean, they're president of universities making $3 million, and sometimes even more when the severance comes at the end. So I'm not in this for money. This has nothing to do with it. I mean, they had a fancy lawyer from New York call me and say, well, we need to talk about your contract. I said, contract for what? For your job. I said, well, why don't we just make it at will, day to day? The guy said, no, I can get this for you. I said, I don't want that. Well, let's talk about your pay. I said, well, what I told him was I want $1. And he said, oh, I can get you. I said, no, I'm not in that. But I think they would have been better off to pay me $1, so it was really clear that I'm not in this for money and I'm not setting a wage level. So they insisted on paying me this $300 or something, I guess. Well, that sets it sort of a level, and I wish they hadn't done that, because I think it hurts all of the people around here as far as pay level, because, well, the boss makes $300 and something, so I guess we got to hold everybody else down. So I think that's wrong. So I wish they would have done what I asked them to do.
And just for the record, he did make a whole lot of money in the oil and gas industry before becoming president of CU. Now, I also asked President Benson what he thought about student loan debt. He pointed out that on CU campuses, the default rate for student loans is around 3%. And he says that shows CU students are getting jobs and paying off their loans. Now,